So, today, September 11th, 2008. And I think you know what I know. Today is the 7th anniversary of the horrible terrorist attacks in New York and Washington, D.C. Where was I when it was 9/11? Well, 9/11, 2001, I was 19 years old, and I remember exactly where I was. And everyone has that story, the quintessential story about 9/11. Where were you when 9/11 happened? I'd like to know. I really would. I'm responding to JJS 911. And the reason that I'm responding to him is because, well, it was the first video that I saw. So, I was in DeVry. I was in DeVry eating a breakfast burrito full of sausages and eggs and potatoes and stuff. That's what I was doing. And as one comes to a significant event that affects world history, such as 9/11, you look back at it and see how mundane your life really is. What really happened that day? And when we were driving in, it was about 6:40, 6:50 in the morning to Pomona. The radio was giving us weird reports because we were listening to Kevin and Bean in Southern California. For those of you who know who Kevin and Bean are, they're a pair of radio hosts, and they weren't being their happy, jovial self. And what happened for me is, I look up, and I'm in the DeVry lunchroom. I didn't go to DeVry, my identical twin did. And I hitched a ride with him because he gave me a ride to college. That's it. That's a plain, simple matter of it. What they were doing is that they were talking about horrible things happening in New York, and they never actually said what it was. So we went on to our merry day, and the news guy for K-Rock, the local rock station, said, what was his name? Doc, I think is his name. Well, we have to pray for the people in New York. And I had no idea what he was talking about. It took me about 20 minutes before I settled in, because what I would do is I wait for my brother. My class didn't start till 9 in the college over the hill. And I would get breakfast, and that took 10 minutes or so. Then I settled in to do some homework, French homework. And I look up to the TV and I'm like, oh, the building's on fire. The World Trade Centers are on fire. And then the next time I look up, I just happen to be looking up. It's a view from afar from Midtown Manhattan. And by now you already know what's going to happen. You already know that the horrible thing is going to happen. But I look up, and the man says, look, there's another plane. And across the screen, you see this plane come into the screen and explode into the second tower. And what we thought was just a normal building fire became the most horrible day for tens of thousands of people in the United States. And when I got to school afterwards, and when I was still in the cafeteria and as the two buildings collapsed, I thought, oh my God, we're going to be drafted. We were of drafting age, still am, but we were of drafting age. We're going to go to war, but who were we going to go to war with? That day was a day for midterms at my college. It's somewhere near the middle of the term. And I thought to myself, is French class going to be canceled? Is history going to be canceled? In French class, we didn't really teach anything. We didn't get taught anything, rather. We were just looking around and asking our teacher in French, what do we do? Do we have a test? Of course, we had a test. But afterwards, after it all was done, we were wandering around shell shocked. I think a lot of us had post traumatic stress disorder watching it over and over on TV. That day, everyone must have seen those towers fall down hundreds of times. Hundreds of times. And I gotta tell you, the one thing that I was thinking about was, God, that I'm scared. We're gonna go to war. Did I know anyone there? Turns out I did know someone there. My friend's mom. My friend from junior high, who I hadn't talked to for 6 years, emailed me out of the blue. He said his mom was in the 103rd floor of the second tower and she couldn't get out. And you'd think that after all these years and thousands of miles, when they used to live in California and you saw them, that they would think to email people in California. I think it was a kind of way to cope, because he couldn't describe, and I can't tell you that it got any better, but a way to describe what happened, the collective trauma that we had. The weirdest things happened to me a lot. My mom's told me that lots of times. And I've told her about the weird things that happened to me, and that is one of the strangest things that happened to me. And in 2004, I found out, and this is after the fact, I found out that I had another connection to 9/11. My friend from college, her current boyfriend at that time, was scheduled to be on that flight from Boston to LA. He overslept. And if he had gotten on that plane, God knows, I'd never meet the guy. He'd be dead. He'd be on a memorial. I'd never meet the Chinese guy with the Boston accent. And I'm not sure if you can tell or not, it's affecting me now. And I wish it didn't. Because that was a prelude to a stupid war in which I saw 10 more of my friends die. And there were 15 of them. They were ROTC members. I went to the funerals of 3 of them. I wish that horrible day never happened. We'd never go to Iraq or Afghanistan. My friend from junior high school would still have his mother. My friends whom I met later in college would still be alive. Can you imagine? You knew 15 military guys who were in your political science class, and you had to go to the funeral of 3 of them. You know that there's only 5 left, and you just hope and you pray that they're gonna come back alive the next time that they do an update, because you never want to look on your MySpace, and you never want to look. Have a bunch of your friends from college tell you Doug just died. Alan just died. These are people that I lived with. These are people who I drank beer with, who I ate pizza with. These are real people. And all those people who died, regardless of the conspiracy theories. Take a moment for silence. I didn't think that would be the longest 10 seconds ever. There aren't many things in the American political psyche that would bring someone together like a horrible attack. It hadn't happened since Pearl Harbor, and hadn't happened on American soil. And I didn't think that I would get emotional making this vlog, but I did. I definitely did. I just hope that other people will share their stories. And I wish you a good day. It's Ryan the Tail's End signing off.